Tourist Perspective.
I will tell you about my mother. My mother was born in Paris. She was living in Paris during the war. In May 1942, she was 20. And I recall her saying, her remembrance of the obligation of wearing the yellow star. Jews were afraid of walking in the streets even before, during the war, because they were afraid of being arrested. They were afraid of any type of control. But when the yellow star came and they all wore it, for the vast majority of Jews, she was afraid when she was riding the metro, she was walking in the streets, that somebody would come and check if it was well sewed on her label. And that augmented the fear that the Jews in Paris, in France, in northern France, resented from the Nazi occupation in the time. That is also the first step that led to the Rafle and the big Rafle de Veldiv in July, where my grandparents were arrested and deported. So it's a lot of emotion when talking about this yellow star. It's not just somebody you can play with, and we'll come back to it, or you can make it a symbol of whatever. It was a sign of discrimination put on the Jews the same way it had been put with the rouelle in France in the 14th century. So it's only bad memories.
What happened to people? I mean, there were a lot of people, especially these were middle-class Jewish people living in France. What happened if they didn't actually conform to the Nazis' new rules?
Arrested. They were arrested immediately, even if it was not sufficiently well sewed on their jacket. They were just arrested, or if they had a coat on top of it, or if it was not seen, it was discovered. They were immediately arrested in the street, and very often not to survive.
Yeah, not to be seen again.
Not to be seen again.
Indeed, there are, just going about how the actual star was fitted, there have been stories where people put them with clasps, with pinned clasps, so they'd be able to pull it off and put it back on easily without being detected. But obviously, the Nazis were aware of these tricks that might have happened.
And if you read it, and if you read the 8th directive, you see that it has to be sewed very tightly on the jackets. It's not just a sign or a pin that you take from one coat to the other. If you have several coats, you have to buy several stars. If you want to change every day, you have to buy as many and as you mentioned, you have to buy it.
And by July then, Jews were banned then. This is only a month after, just over a month after, there was the 9th ordinance, a directive that came on the 8th of July, where Jews were banned from cinemas, theatres, swimming pools, parks. And this only came a week before what you brought up there, the infamous Rafle Veldiv, which was when all of the Jews were assembled in this velodrome not too far from where we are here, near the Eiffel Tower, that were rounded up for deportation to Auschwitz and I'm sure other extermination camps. But for those who weren't picked up and brought in and assembled at the Veldiv occasion, if you will, was there anything that could have been done or was being done for those who actually escaped that first rounding up?
Yes, first of all, there is not only one roundup. There are many roundups in France for the whole year of 1942 and 1943 for some. Again, let me come in with a personal story.
Please do.
And the story of this time, my father and also my mother, they started moving into France to escape the arrestations and the denunciations also. And when telling the story, you have to always mention the two sides. One was the sides of the denunciations, people were denunciated. My grandfather was denunciated because he had a store in Rue du Faubourg Saint-Antoine, and he had an apartment. But at the same time, many people helped the Jews escape. They hid them in the countryside, very often in families. These are the just among the nations. And this is history. History is not black and white. History is always within the big history. You have the history of the people, the small people, as you mentioned, the middle-class people who did not accept, even for the Yellow Star. We have many stories of people who have shown their solidarity for the people who had to wear them. So it was both sides.